Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm coming to you tonight with a bunch of gun stuff. I took two guns to the range today, and I got a few guns that are going to be upcoming projects. So we got a lot of stuff to unwrap here. So let's go ahead and start with the guns that I shot today. Now, in the past, often when I come back from the range, I'll tell you, hey, this didn't work well. And sometimes you kind of get in those ruts. You guys have known I've taken some pistols to the range recently, and I had to discontinue the range report because they're full of like cosmoline or some type of grease. I got to clean them. Or maybe the gun is just horrifically inaccurate for me. But the two guns that I took to the range today, this was a grand slam home run day at the range because both guns were absolutely amazing and exceeded my expectations in every single way. The first gun I shot was the Colt Woodsman. Now, Jack told me this is one of the early ones. So this one should be dated maybe in the 1930s. Well, I have to go look up the serial number on it. And it has that old Colt look to it. I mean, you can tell this thing has been around for a while. Looks kind of industrial, World War I, World War II era. And a lot of people online were saying this is better than many of the 22 target pistols made today. And definitely better than, let's say, the Ruger Mark series of pistols. You can even see it even has that same kind of grip angle there, that kind of really slanted grip angle that you would see in the Rugers. Kind of has the same aesthetics in some way. And, of course, being an older model, I was just curious, like, hey, this thing's probably been around a while. I wonder what the accuracy is going to be like. This might be hands down the most accurate and fun to shoot 22 target pistol I've ever shot. I used everything from CCI standard velocity, CCI mini mag, Federal kind of bulk ammo, and even some Arms Corps 22. And this thing just kept running and running and running. I didn't have one failure whatsoever. I will say, though, it does eject forward. So that might be the only issue, but it ejects strong. So I don't know why it was kind of ejecting, I'd say, to like the 1 o'clock position. But this thing runs great. It's pretty darn amazing. The magazines are actually a little bit harder to load than modern magazines. But of course, this is early on in 22 semi-automatic firearms. So I'm sure they were figuring out the dimensions. They're not too bad. You do have a little loading assist on the side. And the main issue I have is just getting them to kind of start to go into the mag. But you can overcome that. But this thing is accurate. And it's fun to shoot. The trigger, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably about a 7 or 6. It could be a little bit better, but because the gun shoots so well, I don't think I'd change anything about it. It is quite amazing. So this was a lot of fun. Now, the other gun I took to the range is a Smith & Wesson Model 53. And we've talked about this because it fires a very unique cartridge, the 22 Jet. And I went online, and I guess it's officially known by a number of different names. 22 Remington Jet Magnum. Then there's 22 Centerfire Magnum. It's a really, really weird round. And I have 2 cylinders for this gun. And of course, I think I talked about in last night's video, I did some research on this. I have the 22 long rifle cylinder for it. And the 22 jet cylinder. And I even have these little conversion cases for it. So you can put 22 long rifle in these and still use the 22 jet cylinder. So I did the range report where I started off because I didn't want to constantly be changing cylinders in and out. I don't want to accidentally damage the screw or do that too much. So I did want to use both cylinders. So I thought I would start off on 22 long rifle, because if I was going to have any issues with this gun, it was going to be with the 22 Jet, and that was going to be the more powerful. So I was like, okay, let's just run this thing with 22 long rifle. Let's see how it works, how the trigger functions. Is the gun even accurate? And you guys know I'm typically not very accurate with revolvers. This is a completely different story. This is a K-frame, I believe. And a K-frame with a 22 long rifle is just a lot of fun. And this thing ran great. So I did learn a few things. With the 22 long rifle cylinder, I feel like there is excess gas being lost between the cylinder and the forcing cone. I could really feel it in my hands. Like I can feel that explosion of the gas and the release of the gas. So I don't know how much velocity is being lost there, but it was definitely noticeable. When I used this cylinder and used the conversion pieces, you don't have that same issue. Why that is, I don't know. I don't know if this cylinder just rides up against the forcing cone tighter. I don't know. The accuracy with this cylinder is pretty good. Okay, it's very good, in fact. I'd be super happy with it. But when you use the conversion, it's even better. I got a super tight group on this. The downside to the conversion is that every time you want to load these, you got to get your fingernail up underneath the old casing and pull it out. So every one of these you got to take out and load individually, and it's just kind of a time-consuming thing. I'm glad they make them so you don't have to change the barrels out. Not the barrels, the cylinders out. But they work. I'm quite impressed with it. But then I moved to 22 Jet. And I was kind of curious what the recoil of this gun was going to be. I watched a couple of videos online of people shooting it. The warnings people told me is make sure you use double hearing protection because it's going to be loud and the pitch is going to be high. And the other thing they said was watch out for the flash. I was like, okay. So I just didn't know what the recoil. Now, let me tell you. With 22 Jet, which is a 357 Magnum necked down to a 22 caliber projectile, this thing throws fireballs. It's crazy. And it is really, really loud. But it recoils less than a 38 Special. And you can feel the power with this. It's a really fun gun to shoot. And normally I'm not a big fan of the flamethrowers and the loud guns. But because the recoil in this and the accuracy with this is so good, it's a lot of fun. So if you just want to have a gun that just spits fire, but is easy to shoot, this is it. This was an awesome experience. I could not be happier with this gun. It is a fantastic revolver and has easily gone on my list of probably top 5 Smith & Wesson revolvers of all time that I have reviewed. This is just a fantastic gun. Fantastic gun. Just wow. Not only was it accurate, not only was the trigger good, not only is it well balanced, functions great, it's fun to shoot. And when a gun has that fun factor, man, it's a great day at the range. And both of these guns were absolutely fantastic and awesome today. So much fun at the range. So I'll have to start working on those range reports. And I'll have a little bit of extra time this week. So hopefully I'll get these out. And then I have to make sure I get some of Dee's rifles to the range because he needs some of them back for, I guess, a trip he's going on soon. So I have to put those in the queue next, definitely. So I have to get to the long distance range. But speaking of other guns that I need to review, I was able to take back 4 pistols that I've reviewed of Jack's, and he gave me 4 more. 4 more is what I got, okay? So I want to show you what's going in the queue. So these are going to be, see, I have 2 AMTs to review. I have 2 of Dee's rifles to review. Then I'll get to these. So that's kind of my backlog. But let's go through each one of these. Oh yeah. Okay, so this one is going to bring back some memories for me, because I used to own one, not in this barrel length, but it was an amazing revolver. The Colt Python. Now, this is one of the old Colt Pythons. So this is not one of the new ones. This is one of the ones that is, you know, back when they were truly handmade in the Colt Royal Blue. You can even see the reflection on that. And yeah, these are just absolutely amazing. I had a 6-inch version, and I ended up selling it for about twice what I paid for it, only like 2 years later, because I wanted an HK SP5K when they first came out. And for me, HK SP5K beat Colt Python. But this one, I think I'm going to like even more, because this is the... It looks like a 3-inch. I'll have to double check. I think Jack said 5-inch. I'm sorry, not 5-inch. A 4-inch, but I don't know. It looks like it might be a 3-inch. I don't know. I'll have to measure it. It does look like, though, we do have a little bit of rust right here on the front sight. So I'll try to take care of that, and I think a little bit here on the ramp. But that's the only rust on this gun. So I will try to take care of that for Jack. But everything else on this gun looks pristine and brand spanking new. This thing is going to be awesome, because the Colt Pythons, hands down, the best production revolvers ever made. Then we're going to have, says Colt, another one of the Colt Snake series guns. And what is that? Sorry, there's some writing in that box, but I don't know what it has to do with anything. All right, so this is the Colt Diamondback in .22 long rifle. So this was made at the same time as the Python and the Anaconda, but it's in .22. So it might not be as tight of tolerances and as well built as the Python, but still one of the best. So to shoot this kind of back to back with the Python will be really, really cool. But the Diamondback in .22 long rifle, and just has that beautiful look to it. I don't think the finish on this one is as nice as the Python, but these are highly collectible, highly desirable. Then the next thing we have is a gun that I have shot in the past, but I don't think I've ever reviewed one. And as you can tell from the flat dark earth box and the one, or the FN logo on the side, you know we're going to have the FNX45 Tactical. Now, the predecessor to this gun was the FNP45 Tactical. And I remember when there was a program potentially to replace the M9 pistol with a .45 caliber handgun, FN submitted the FNP45, and it looks just like this gun. But then they upgraded it and went to the changed the name from the FNP to the FNX. And I don't really understand what they changed. I know the magazines are not compatible. And I know there's a couple of other parts internally that are not compatible, but this is supposed to be an upgrade from that. So why they changed it, I don't know. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to shoot. I don't shoot as many 45s as probably I should. And I know my friend Andrew in the land down under in Australia, who loves my channel, he loves 45. So he's probably going to absolutely love this particular pistol. And then finally, we have something I have always wanted to review. And it's something that is made by a non-gun company, but it's a gun. We have an M1 carbine. And I've shot the M1 carbine copy by Ruger. That's like the 22 or the Ruger 1022, but I like that chassis. But I don't think I've ever reviewed an actual M1 carbine. So this is chambered in 30 carbine. It does have the oiler and the sling. I took it off because I know when I review it, I'm probably only going to have that sling get in the way. So I just took that off for right now. But we have one magazine, and I think I need to ask Jack if he has any other magazines, because it'd be nice to go to the range and have a couple mags if I want to do like a quick magazine change. And also, I need to find some 30 carbine. I went through my ammo safe, and I don't have any 30 carbine. So I got to find some of that. But guess who made this particular M1 carbine? You guys know there was a number of different companies that made it. What was, of course, what was it? Remington, I think. Ithaca. Rockola. This one is made by IBM, International Business Machines. And Jack is in the world of IT and computers, and he thought it would be really cool to have an M1 carbine made by IBM. And so this is an IBM marked receiver. Now, not every part on this was made by IBM. I did some research that there were companies that would just make like just the sights or just the charging handle or whatever. But the receivers, the bolt, the barrel, it was all made by IBM. So this is an IBM M1 carbine. And this is such a fascinating gun because it's one of the few carbines that really shares almost nothing with its bigger counterpart. You know, like the M4 carbine essentially is like an M16 or an AR-15 scaled down. You know, you have the 20-inch barrel version. The receivers are the same, fires the same cartridge. Many of the parts are interchangeable. But when it comes to the M1 carbine, I don't think anything on this gun is interchangeable with the M1 Garand or Garand. It looks the part. It kind of charges the same. It has the same kind of manual of arms, but it's not an M1 Garand. So I've always wanted to fire one of these and review one of these. And this one is really cool considering that it is an IBM. So there you go. That's the upcoming projects here on the Texas Gun Vault. And I had just a great day at the range. Just an amazing day at the range with the Model 53 and the Colt Woodsman. So, yeah. So I got to get going on those. I'll probably edit the range footage of those and write the bullet point scripts tonight so I can start filming those range reports next day or so, or maybe I'll kind of start tonight. I don't know. I think I'm going to take tonight off because I got the range footage for these, and I'm going to go for a long bike ride. But anyway, that's what I got going. So what do you guys think about my experiences with those guns and the upcoming projects? And what is the word of the day? The word of the day. I know you guys love it. The word of the day is going to be, well, because it's really cool to have an M1 carbine made by IBM, we're going to say the word of the day is international. International, because IBM is the International Business Machines company. So try to use that in a comment, and I know you watched to the end. So let me know what you guys think, and I always appreciate you guys joining me here in the garage to talk about guns. So, as always, thanks for watching.